Did losing your job push you out of your comfort zone? Here's the truth. Nobody's telling you. You're not just looking for a job right now. You're fighting an invisible battle with fear every single day. And that battle is costing you weeks, maybe months. I know because I see it all the time. Smart, capable professionals who suddenly can't hit send on a LinkedIn message. Experienced managers who stare at job postings for hours but don't apply. And here's what really gets me. You think it's just you. You think everyone else has it together and you're the only one struggling. That's not true. And today I'm going to show you exactly what's happening and why your job search is taking longer than it should. When you had your job, you were in what I call the comfort zone. You knew your routine. You knew what to expect, you had your role, your identity, maybe even work friends. Then the layoff happened. And overnight, that comfort zone was ripped away from you. Now you're in a completely different space. And most people don't realize there are actually 4 zones we move through. And understanding where you are right now changes everything. Here they are. Zone 1, comfort zone, where you were, your old job, your routine. Zone 2, fear zone, where you probably are right now. Everything feels scary and uncomfortable. Zone 3, learning zone, where growth actually happens. Still uncomfortable, but you are moving forward. Zone 4, success zone, where you land that new job with confidence. Here's the problem. Most people get stuck in the fear zone and don't know how to move forward. And that's costing them months and great job opportunities. Let me show what I mean. Okay, let's talk about the fear zone. Because if you just got laid off, this is probably exactly where you are right now. And I'm going to be really honest with you because sugarcoating, this doesn't help anyone. Here's what the fear zone actually looks like. Let me give you a couple of examples. The perfectionist trap. You open your laptop, you're going to update your resume today, but then you spend 3 hours changing the font, rewording one bullet point, asking yourself, is that good enough? And by the end of the day, you haven't sent out a single application. You tell yourself you're being thorough, you're being professional, but the truth is you're scared. You're scared that if you send it out and you don't hear back, it means you're not good enough. So you keep perfecting instead of sending. The LinkedIn avoider. You know you should be networking. Everyone says reach out on LinkedIn. But every time you open LinkedIn, you feel sick to your stomach. You see your old colleagues posting about their jobs. You see people getting promoted and you are unemployed. So you close the app. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow and I feel better. But tomorrow comes and you still don't feel better because the fear doesn't go away on its own. Application freeze. You find a perfect job posting. It's exactly what you want. You read it 5 times, then you start second guessing. Do I really have enough experience? What if they think I'm overqualified? What if I'm not technical enough? You bookmark it. You tell yourself you'll apply this weekend when you have more time to prepare. But the weekend comes and goes and that job still sitting in your bookmarks unopened. The imposter syndrome. Let's say you're a software engineer. You've built products, you've shipped code, you have skills. But now you're looking at a job description and thinking, I don't know that framework, or I have only used this tool once. You convince yourself you need to take another course first, learn another language, build another portfolio project. So you spend weeks learning instead of applying. And meanwhile, jobs you're absolutely qualified for are getting filled by people who just applied. So, does this sound familiar? Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't laziness. This isn't you being difficult. This is fear. And fear is sneaky. It disguises itself as perfectionism or not being ready yet or I just need a little bit more time. But what it's really doing, It's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you safe from rejection, but it's also keeping you from moving forward. And here's the part that might be hard to hear. Every day you stay in this fear zone, you're not just delaying your job search, you're missing opportunities, real opportunities. Because while you're perfecting that resume for the 10th time, someone else is hitting send. While you're waiting to feel ready, someone else is reaching out to that recruiter. While you're convincing yourself you need one more certification, someone else is interviewing for that job you wanted. That's the real cost of that fear zone. Not just time, not just money, but actual opportunities that could change your life. Look, I get it. I really do, because I've been exactly where you are. My name is Elizabeth Peischl and I got laid off too. But here's the thing, I wasn't just laid off. I was in Australia, alone, far from home in Germany. I'd never looked for a job in that environment before. Everything was terrifying. And I did exactly what I just described. I procrastinated, I doubted myself, I stayed stuck in that fear zone. It took me 11 months to finally land a new job. 11 months of stress, of doubt, of watching my savings drain. And here's what kills me looking back. With the right support, with someone helping me build my confidence and take action faster, it could have been 3 months. I lost 8 months of my life to fear. 8 months of opportunities I'll never get back. That's why I became a mindset coach. Because there's no reason you need to go through what I went through. There's no reason to stay stuck when confidence, real solid confidence, can change everything. And if any of this is resonating with you, if you are recognizing yourself in that fear zone, I want you to know there's help. You don't have to figure this out alone. But let me show you what happens when you stay stuck versus what's possible when you move forward. So let me break down exactly how staying in the fear zone costs you time and opportunity. The number game. Let's say there are 2 people who got laid off at the same time, same background, same skills. Person A stays in the fear zone. They spend weeks perfecting their resume. They apply for 2 or 3 jobs because they are being strategic. They avoid networking because it feels uncomfortable. Person B gets support, builds confidence, moves into the learning zone. They send out 10 to 15 applications per week. They reach out to 5 people on LinkedIn, even though it's scary. They're not perfect, but they are moving. After 1 month, person A has applied to maybe 10 jobs, maybe got 1 interview. Person B has applied to 50 plus jobs and had 5 to 6 interviews and possible has an offer. Same skills, same market, different mindset. The opportunity window. Here's something most people don't realize. The best jobs don't stay open for long. When a great position gets posted, it might only be actively reviewed for 2 to 3 weeks before they start interviewing candidates. If you're in the fear zone, you see that job posting. You bookmark it, you think about it, you wait until you feel ready. By the time you finally apply 2 weeks later, they've already interviewed 10 people and have 3 finalists. Your application goes into a pile that might never get looked at. You didn't lose that opportunity because you weren't qualified. You lost it because fear made you wait. The confidence spiral. You finally force yourself to apply for jobs. You send out your resume. Because you're in the fear zone, your cover letter sounds desperate or over-apologetic. Your LinkedIn profile says, seeking opportunities instead of confidently stating your value. You get a phone screen, but you're so in your head, so worried about saying the wrong thing that you don't show up as the capable professional you actually are. They pass. You take this as confirmation that you're not good enough. The fear gets stronger. You apply to fewer jobs. The cycle continues. And the interview trap. You're a developer. You get an interview. Great. But you're so afraid of not knowing something that you spent the entire interview second guessing yourself. They ask about a project you built. Instead of confidently walking them through it, you focus on what you could have done better or what you didn't know at that time. They ask a technical question. You know the answer, but you're so nervous you stumble through it, apologizing, saying, "I'm not sure if this is right." They hire someone with less experience who showed up confident. This is what the fear zone does. It doesn't just slow you down, it actively works against you. And the longer you stay there, the harder it gets to leave. Okay, so we've talked about where you are. Now let me show you where you could be. Because here's the thing, the learning zone and the success zone, they are not some magical place where everything is easy and comfortable. They are not. The learning zone is still uncomfortable. You're still doing things that scare you. You're still putting yourself out there. You're still facing rejection. But here's the difference. You're moving forward anyway. What that learning zone actually looks like? You update your resume and instead of spending 3 days perfecting it, you send it out. Is it perfect? No. But it's good enough. And it's out there. You see a job posting that's a 70% match. Instead of waiting until you're 100% qualified, you apply. Because you know that confidence and willingness to learn matter more than checking every single box. You reach out on LinkedIn even though your hands are shaking. You send that message. Maybe they respond, maybe they don't. But you did it. You get a rejection email. It stinks. But instead of taking it as proof that you're not good enough, you apply to 3 more jobs the same day. That's the learning zone. It's uncomfortable, but you are taking action. You're building momentum. You're building confidence through doing, not through waiting until you feel ready. And here's what happens when you're in the learning zone with support. You apply to more jobs because you're not stuck perfecting. You network more because someone encouraging you to take that scary step. You show up to interviews as your confident self because you've done the mindset work. You recover from rejection faster because you understand it's part of the process, not a reflection of your worth. And then the success zone. This is where you land that job. But it's not just about getting a job. It's about getting there faster, with less suffering, with your confidence intact. It's about looking back and realizing, I did this. I pushed through the fear. I didn't let it stop me. Imagine this. 3 months from now, you're starting your new job. You're excited. You're confident. You know your worth. You look back at today and think, I'm so glad I didn't waste another 6 months stuck in fear. I'm so glad I reached out for help. That's what's possible. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you build by taking action even when you're scared. And you don't have to do it alone. So, here's where we are. You know where you are right now. Probably in that fear zone. Feeling stuck. Watching time slip by. You know what's it's costing you, weeks, months, and real opportunities. And you know what's possible, moving into that learning zone, building confidence, landing that job faster. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because here's the truth I learned the hard way. You can't think your way out of the fear zone. You have to act your way out. And that's really hard to do alone. I know because I tried for 11 months. I tried to figure it out by myself. And it cost me time, money, and opportunities I'll never get back. So you don't have to do that. If you're sitting there right now recognizing yourself in everything I've said, if you're feeling that fear, that procrastination, that voice telling you you're not ready, I want you to reach out. Not next week, not when you feel ready, now. Because your life after job loss, it starts when you decide to stop letting fear make your decisions. I help people just like you, smart, capable professionals who got laid off and are stuck in that fear zone, build their confidence back up, take action faster, and land jobs in months instead of staying stuck for a year. This is what I do. This is why I'm here. So, if that is resonating with you, if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to move forward, reach out. Let's talk. Let's get you out of that fear zone and into action. Because confidence is everything, even if you don't want to admit it. And you deserve to move forward fast. Your job search doesn't have to take 11 months like mine did. It can take only 3. Here's what to do right now. Click the link in the description below. It'll take you to a simple page where you can book a free 20-minute call with me. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a conversation about where you are, what your next steps could be, and how I can help. Or if you prefer, send a message on LinkedIn. You'll find the link below as well. Just don't wait, because every day you wait is another day in the fear zone. Take that first step, reach out. Let's get you moving forward. I'll see you soon. Confidence after job loss starts here.